What's up, everyone? I'm Gabe, and we're going to show you how we tune our drums for bop on this channel. You've seen me in some of these videos without a head, so here's my head. We have a beautiful Yamaha Maple Custom kit from the original Absolute release, early 2000s, and I'm just going to show you what I personally do. I'm here with a bass drum. It is not even finger tight right now, and actually so in this particular drum, I think there's a lot of lug grease or something that makes it really difficult to finger tighten the drums, so I'm gonna use a key to do that. But this is normally what I start with. This is the bass drum Resonant, by the way. It's an EQ4 Calftone. It has a ring inside of it, so it's a little more muffled. Sometimes I use an unmuffled head and I use a felt strip. It, doesn't really, since you're not hitting this, it doesn't really affect it that much. But I do like a slightly muffled Resonant because it sounds a little more controlled. And I keep the batter completely open, in my personal case. That's not what we've done for all of these videos, but if it was my drum set, that's how it would be. So I'm just, getting everything. Lugs, or the tension rods, are going to make contact with the hooks, and once, and I'm going around in the star pattern. Once I'm done doing that, then I start cranking up the drum. Okay, so everything's finger tight with the key, right? One big thing is you want to make sure you're not getting any crooked angles with each of these hooks and stuff, so it's not that difficult, but just something to look out for. And now I'll start giving maybe like half, or let's do a half turn on each one. And we're starting to get something. So as far as pitch is concerned, I tune this to, this is a little bit over theorized, I tune this to an octave above what the fundamental note of the drum is going to be. And I think it'll make more sense when it's all tuned up. So I'll sort of reiterate when I'm done here. But basically it's going to be really high. It might sound weird to some people. Like boingy bass drums. And now that we're getting a discernible pitch, I start trying to even them out. So that's the most important thing for me, is not necessarily do they all feel the same, but do they all sound the same. Sometimes it's going to feel different. Like, I find that there's a lot of variations in heads and stuff, and maybe it's the way I seat them, who knows, but it works. So now, this one's still a little bit lower. Right, so now we're getting a nice even ring. And usually at this point, I stretch the head even more. So, and you can see it lowered just a little bit. But it's still nice and even. So, we keep cranking. Whoops. So at this point I've cranked up the head, and now it's a little bit uneven again. One other kind of fascinating tidbit is that I find the lugs across from each other usually share the same pitch, and usually affect the pitch of the lug across from the respective lug. So let's say that there's a small difference here, then I'm working with these 4 lugs. So if I feel like one of them's really loose, I might tighten that one and loosen the one across and get more even tension that way. Right about where I want it, and I don't want to go too much higher, so I'm going to start lowering the ones that are too high. So, that's cool to me. Yeah. So now we flippity flick, and we do the same, but this one's gonna be lower. So I almost exclusively tune my batter heads lower than I do the resonant head. I'm gonna do the same thing with the key. So finger tight. If you can do it with the rods, do it with the rods. If you need a key to do it, that's cool too. It's not really. So now we have another finger tight head. So we start cranking. Talk about the pitches that we have going on here real quick. Basically, if I just turn the drum over and mute whichever side I'm not working on, you can hear this is very high. This is the resonant head on my left, your right. Okay, and then this will be not quite, but approximately major to minor third. I feel like it's somewhere in between. Let me actually pull that up a little bit. But I'm usually shooting for a minor third difference between the resonant and the batter being a minor third below, and vice versa. So, and when you do that, I guess the end goal is to get a pleasing interval between the fundamental tone of the drum and the overtone of the batter head, which is the one that you're going to hear the most. So I've put it facing you. Now you can hear sort of how the drum will sound. Actually, okay, so I've attached a bass drum pedal, and it's pretty much right where I like it, right here where I have a pretty high resonant and a lower batter, and this is what it sounds like. That's how I tune a bass drum.